declared Kenneth Nanayao OFORI ATTA as a wanted man. If you go on the special prosecutor's website, that's right now, they have published the wanted notice of OFORI ATTA as we speak. It's live on our Facebook page at 3FM927. That wanted notice on the special prosecutor's website. We have a copy of it. If you go on our Facebook page right now at 3FM927, it is right there for you. And it reads, wanted by the police, wanted by the Office of Special Prosecutor, wanted by the Office of Special Prosecutor, Kenneth Nanayao OFORI ATTA, name, description, date of birth, 7th November 1958, age 66 years, gender male, eye color black, hair color black, distinguishing marks not applicable, complexion brown skin, possible location United States, United Kingdom, South Africa, Guyana, Hong Kong, and Cayman Islands. These are the places, according to the special prosecutor's wanted notice, these are the possible locations of OFORI ATTA as we speak. United States, United Kingdom, South Africa, Guyana, Hong Kong, and Cayman Islands. These are the areas the special prosecutor says they suspect OFORI ATTA is. But if you recall, this is quite interesting, because if you recall, the earlier communication by OFORI ATTA's lawyers and the medical information that they provided did indicate that OFORI ATTA was in the United States receiving medical treatment. The special prosecutor acknowledged all of that. If you listen to the special prosecutor, it takes quite some time to chronicle all the events that have gone by over the last at least two to 3 months related to OFORI ATTA. And the reason why today, by 1:30 p.m., which is almost 5 hours away or ago, OFORI ATTA was supposed to physically present himself to the special prosecutor. That did not happen. And that's what has occasioned this press conference by the special prosecutors we're hearing. And he did indicate that the OFORI ATTA's lawyers indeed wrote to the special prosecutor on the 28th of May, which was some 4 days ago, in fact 5 days ago, indicating that OFORI ATTA was to undergo another medical operation on the 13th of June, and reason why he cannot make himself physically present. Now, based on this information, the special prosecutor says OFORI ATTA is picking and choosing how he wants to be, as it were, investigated. And in the view of the special prosecutor, a suspect in a criminal matter doesn't pick and choose how investigations or investigative agencies conduct its investigation into his issues, as to when, where, how it is done. So on that note, the OSP says they have declined OFORI ATTA's invitation to view his bail sphere, and the report, as we are seeing now, because of the matters that they have raised concerning OFORI ATTA's medical report. Now, according to the special prosecutor, OFORI ATTA has failed to show any medical report that he is a travel risk. And the special prosecutor has declared that it ends here and today. He will no longer be accommodated in terms of the excuses that the special prosecutor posted, the excuses, and also the notices that he, through his lawyers, gives to the special prosecutor. The special prosecutor, indicated that he has triggered the issuance of the Interpol red notice, and then also has instructed that OFORI ATTA be put back on the wanted list. So if you're on our Facebook page right now, we are showing you just few minutes ago the special prosecutor's wanted notice that has been put on its website right now, that's wanted by the Office of Special Prosecutor. Kenneth Nanayao OFORI ATTA is back on the wanted list on the special prosecutor's website, and these are the reasons they gave. This suspect is wanted to answer charges in respect of several cases, including strategic mobilization, GRA contract, termination of ECG, BXC contract, national cathedral payments, ambulance procurement contract, and tax refund account utilization. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of this individual should alert the office that's the Special Prosecutor's office, by calling or sending a WhatsApp message to, they give some two numbers, 055 44 94499 and 055 44 84488. That is information right now the Special Prosecutor has just published on its website. They have put OFORI ATTA back on the list of wanted persons.
Breaking news on 3FM 92.7.
And you heard the Special Prosecutor chronicle all the reasons why. One, in that OFORI ATTA is back on the wanted list because he is under investigation by the OSP for the 5 key issues: petroleum and mineral revenue assurance, electricity contract termination, that's the contract between ECG and Beijing BXC, and the National Cathedral procurement and payment processes, the ambulance deal, the Ministry of Health's contract for some 307 ambulances, if you recall that, and then the GRA tax refund, also handling and disbursement of the said tax fund account. These are the 5 issues the Special Prosecutor says OFORI ATTA is being investigated on, reason why he's back on the wanted list. 2, the Special Prosecutor gives some key timelines. January 2025, the OSP named OFORI ATTA a suspect, summoned him on the 10th of February. He didn't show up. 31st January, his lawyers claimed he is abroad for medical reasons. On the 5th of February, the Special Prosecutor demanded a return date and warned of a legal consequence if that was not given. Then, following up on the 10th of February, an unaddressed doctor's note cited March, the month of March, that OFORI ATTA was going to have a surgery in March, and there was no confirmed return date. On the 12th of February, the Special Prosecutor declared OFORI ATTA a fugitive from justice. On the 18th of February, his lawyers appealed to the Special Prosecutor, and then the firm that his lawyers indicated that there was going to be a May return date, which was given on the 2nd of May. And subsequent to that, OFORI ATTA's name was removed from the wanted list with a warning of the reissuance if the said date of return was not complied with. Fast forward to March 2025, OFORI ATTA sued the Special Prosecutor over the wanted status that was put on him, demanding the removal of his history of publication on social media. On the 28th of March, the Human Rights Court heard OFORI ATTA's plea to block the Special Prosecutor from future declarations and adjourned it to the 18th of June 2025. So that case is still pending. Now, what has happened now is that the Special Prosecutor says OFORI ATTA's lawyers wrote to him on the 28th of May, which was just some few days ago, indicating that today, which was the return date that OFORI ATTA was supposed to come and physically present himself to the Special Prosecutor, he will not be able to make it. Reason being, he is scheduled for a medical procedure on the 13th of June. And according to the Special Prosecutor, OFORI ATTA knew this particular medical procedure way back, but did not notify the Special Prosecutor up until just few days ago. And so as a result, OFORI ATTA cannot choose and dictate how investigations are done regarding all these issues that he has been investigated for. And as a result, the Special Prosecutor says it ends here and today. He will no longer be accommodated. The Special Prosecutor has triggered the issuance of an Interpol red notice, and that is what we have in play right now. OFORI ATTA is back on the wanted list. If you go on our Facebook page at 3FM927, we have the wanted notice on the website of the Special Prosecutor right now. And Adam Senano is a co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption. He's been following this case quite closely. Mr. Senano, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening.
And I took time to recall and chronicle all the issues as the Special Prosecutor did put out a few minutes ago at that press conference that ended not too long ago, just to put the matters in context. Certainly, this development of OFORI ATTA being put back on the wanted list doesn't come as a surprise, is it not?
especially when the information that late last week, 28th, probably that's like Thursday or something, the lawyers of Mr. OFORI ATTA rather belatedly were informing the OSP that he will not show up this week. That was too late in the day. I mean, given all the issues that have happened, they ought to have been engaging much more frequently if there were issues going to prevent him from fulfilling his commitment.
I see, but then again, the lawyers of OFORI ATTA earlier today had indicated that they were in fact prepared for any eventualities regarding whatever next move the special prosecutor will take, and describe the special prosecutor's steps on this matter as indecent haste. Is it one that you would align with?
I don't know what is indecent about this. Listen, the special prosecutor's position, which I align with, because there is logical sense in it. What is it that he's saying? He's saying that up to now, you've not provided a medical report from a medical facility that says that, look, this is a diagnosis. Based on the diagnosis, these are our conclusions. Based on the conclusions, these are the recommended actions. This is when it will be taken, and therefore, this person is not available from this point to that point, and we'll update you subsequently. If you provide, for example, in this case, the biopsy report. A biopsy is like a lab report. They take a sample of tissue, they analyze it, and they can tell you that the tissue is malignant or whatever. That report by itself would not usually have a medical doctor's comment on it. It will simply be the technical lab report saying that, yes, we found that this tissue is cancerous or not. What you need beyond that is an MD's commentary on it saying, because of this is the conclusion, and based on the conclusion, we're recommending that treatment A or treatment B should be provided, whether chemotherapy or whatever, for a 2-week period. And in addition, that this facility, and that's the key part, the facility with its logo, with its contacts, the name of the professional working on it, is going to do this at this point. That is missing. So far, they've had some documents with no letterhead, no contacts, just describing what is going on. Now they say there's a biopsy report, which again is just a lab report without any credible institution taking responsibility and saying we've examined him, he is in our area, in our facility, and we're acting. I mean, that raises a lot of questions. In any case, all these months, so where has he been? The energy he has spent engaging his lawyers, wouldn't a fraction of that, the time spent engaging with his lawyers to come up with cases that are tried and elsewhere, wouldn't that have sufficed enough for him to have answered these questions by now? So I think that we should understand that the SP would have been irresponsible if the necessary due diligence, which includes validation of what the person says, I have this condition, and a medical facility has said we are going to intervene. Where is the documentation showing that it's not just that there's a diagnosis, but there's a conclusion, there's a recommendation, and it is X facility that's going to do it, and we know that for sure that these professionals are going to do it. It hasn't happened.
See now, but there was a question about really why the special prosecutor would insist on a physical appearance when the latest from his lawyers indicate that OFORI ATTA is ready for some virtual engagement with the special prosecutor.
Well, in criminal investigations, usually they want the person to be physically around. Your body language itself is part and parcel of the engagement. And there are things that you may need to sign on to. The processes they take you, you swear to A and B, you sign on things, plus the physical. You never know, if they want you to do a lie detector test. The investigative bodies have their ways in which they want to collect information. In any case, if at the end of that interrogation they find that you are truly culpable, what would be the value if you are on a virtual platform? Let's not run away from confronting the fact. It is very possible that at the end of that engagement, they will find that there are substantive things that Mr. OFORI ATTA should be held accountable for, which I believe may be part of the reason why he doesn't seem keen on this. What would be the value if it's a virtual discussion? And at the end of the engagement, they find that truly there's reason to say this person should be billed or whatever for court processes to begin. Any ordinary citizen would have to go through that anyway. I think it is well within the mandate of the OSP to determine that they want him physically. And I think that every law-abiding citizen is so required to make themselves available.
And on the back of that, the OSP took some time to, in fact, chronicle how all of this has played out right from January up until now. And few days before his expected physical appearance before the special prosecutor today, we saw him go to court as well. OFORI ATTA is in court again. He was seeking to restrain the special prosecutor from putting him back on the wanted list, which has happened some few minutes ago as we speak. What does all of that tell you?
Well, the optics have not been good. All these side events have only made it probably much more difficult for the SP to believe that he's not just trying to do everything to make sure he's not available. Listen, if you know that you are clean, you don't have anything to hide, you believe you have the answers to the issues, they've told you exactly the cases. By now, you and your team of lawyers, you have gathered all the documents in relation to those 5 cases and gone through them and ensure that you are covered. Just come and speak to them. The energy being spent on all these other cases, it just sends, the optics is not good. It sends the wrong message. You have time to do other things, but come clear yourself and indicate that you've not, as it were, engaged in anything fraudulent or deprived the good people of this country of resources that should be used for development purposes. I don't think that those other actions have positively contributed for anyone to believe that he's not trying to avoid being interrogated and held accountable for any losses that the state has incurred.
You align with that position by the special prosecutor declaring today that yes, all of this ends here and today. He will no longer be accommodated. No medical explanation, so-called, would be accommodated from him going forward.
Unfortunately, yes, because I don't think that he and his team of lawyers have kept good faith with the OSP. Really, after giving a commitment to such an important entity of state that you're going to come by a certain date, June 2nd, if is right or whatever the case is, you don't wait till less than 7 days to the date to suddenly say things have changed. Obviously, if you're going to be engaging in an intervention, that should have come up more than a week ago. And yet again, this time, you don't provide a medical facility report. All the important things that would then make the SP believe that, look, I have the evidence to suggest that a credible medical group is dealing with this individual. They have confirmed this is the intervention at this time, and therefore I should take it seriously. I don't think that they have managed to do what is required of them to assure everybody that they are willing to bring themselves and answer questions. I'm not too surprised that the SP has decided to put him back on the wanted list.
Mr. I appreciate your time on this. Thank you so much for joining us.
And thank you for having me.
Adam Sano is the co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption there. So live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Now, if you go on our Facebook page at 3FM 927, we're showing you the latest coming through from the special prosecutor, the wanted notice that has been published again. OFORI ATTA has been put back on the list of wanted persons by the special prosecutor. And if you go on our Facebook page, let's put the wanted list right there now. It says name Kenneth Nanaya OFORI ATTA. That's number one. And the description, date of birth 7 November 1958, age 66 years, and gender male, eye color black, and then also the hair color black, distinguishing marks not applicable, complexion brown, skin, possible locations. They put United States of America, United Kingdom, South Africa, Guyana, Hong Kong, and Cayman Islands. These are the areas the special prosecutor say they suspect that Ken Ofori-Atta is in as we speak, and they are not taking that medical report, and as it were, the medical communication, for that matter, from Ken Ofori-Atta's lawyers, indicating that he is receiving treatment in a health facility in the United States of America. Special prosecutor says, to the extent that they don't have him physically, they cannot assume that he is in the United States. And so they are spreading their tentacles beyond the United States, looking into the United Kingdom, South Africa, Guyana, Hong Kong, and the Cayman Islands. And obviously, questions will be asked as to why these specific countries. But it's definitely for the special prosecutor to give some more details and answer that particular question. Here are the reasons why they have put Ken Ofori-Atta back on the wanted list. That the suspect, Ken Ofori-Atta, is wanted to answer charges in respect of several cases, including strategic mobilization. That's a GRA contract. You remember the SML GRA contract, the termination of the ECG BXC contract, and the National Cathedral payments, ambulance procurement contract, and tax refund account utilization. And this also is a matter that borders on security, okay? Because the special prosecutor is talking about the triggering the extradition processes from today onwards. And now that the special prosecutor has declared Ken Ofori-Atta wanted, then what next? And the areas, in fact, the countries that the special prosecutor has listed are the countries that they suspect Ken Ofori-Atta is in, despite his lawyers putting out a communication that he is receiving treatment in a health facility in the United States. Now, Richard Kumado is a security consultant. He's joining us on the telephone, a former operative of the National Intelligence Bureau, formerly BNI. Mr. Kumado, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Nene.
No, you heard the special prosecutor then, and it's striking because we have a copy of the wanted notice which they have published on their website. And even though there's some medical communication from the lawyers of Ken Ofori-Atta that he's receiving treatment at a health facility in the United States, special prosecutor says the possible locations of Ken Ofori-Atta is the US, yes, the UK, South Africa, Guyana, Hong Kong, and the Cayman Islands. How does that strike you?
I wasn't surprised at all. Before they got to this conclusion, they have done some level of work, and some people might have traced him and follow him all over the world. As investigators, there's something we do. It's a basic thing we do for international community travelers and local people. We call it the travel rate. And the travel rates and the travel history gives us history of where you are likely to be and where you might have been within a particular time. So I'm sure that they have done that, and that is why he carefully listed those countries. And he did not just list them, but those countries might be countries where we have the extradition or deportation protocols with them, and that makes life easier.
And that leads me to the next question about the extradition and the protocols. The special prosecutor has indicated that that's what one of the steps he's going to take after today. How is that going to play out?
There are two ways. Either he will mount a legal challenge wherever he is, and he could be tried in absentia, like the special prosecutor said, or he will come voluntarily, or he might come under some level of compulsion. Recently, in one of the African countries, the investigators traveled to the country where the fugitive is living, and they brought him themselves, and he came to stand trial. So there are various methodologies, there are various options and various avenues available to the special prosecutor. But before you put me on, when you were listing the 5 areas where he's wanted for questioning, it could be the BNI might be interested in one particular area, Yoko might be interested in one particular area, FIC might be interested in an area, and the police might be interested in an area. That do not mean that OSP is the sole agency to investigate all these 5 areas. Some other investigators could get involved, and that may change the dynamics or the complexity of it.
It's a very interesting dynamic you bring to the conversation now, that these 5 countries could possibly be because other investigative agencies investigating other issues that Ken OFORI ATTA may be involved in are also now sort of collaborating with the special prosecutor in all of this?
Definitely, yes. Particularly some international organizations that came into our country recently and signed some collaborative partnership arrangements with some of our investigative bodies. They have large platforms and they have huge resources available to them. And to the extent that all other investigative and prosecutorial agencies have the ability to investigate any of these cases at all times, they might be collaborating more, and that might change the dynamics a little bit, if not a straightforward line. You remember the special prosecutor also said Yoko might be asking for some documentation concerning our auntie, and you remember he angrily said, I use the word angrily, not in any harmful way, but he stressed the point that when you have come under crime notice, and the notice itself, it's not the duty and the responsibility of the suspect to dictate the pace, the how, and the methodology to be applied and when to report. I feel vindicated this evening because this is something I have been stressing for all these years. And for coming from the special prosecutor, particularly within this case, I think that is the way to go, and we should treat ourselves civilly. But where there are issues to be dealt with in terms of crime investigations and when you have come under crime notice, we need to tread cautiously. Other than that, we might be creating confrontation and antagonism that may not usually help the crime suspect.
And well, in that regard, the special prosecutor is saying that, they insist that they want Ken OFORI ATTA physically because of, some other matters that could play out if he appears physically. And that a suspect in a criminal matter doesn't pick and choose how investigative agencies conduct their investigation when it comes to him.
And this is the investigative sphere. They have no stand trial where you say he could be tried in absentia, even though that's an option for the OSP and the other investigative bodies. But this is at the investigation stage, and they need that physical presence, particularly when there are questions where your physical presence is required. And this is a standard procedure all over the world. Let's not create problems for ourselves. Let's not stretch it a little bit too far. It is a standard procedure, and let's follow it so that tomorrow, when history is being written, we could say, when we came, this is what we saw and this is what we did. And it builds up our democracy, particularly in the area of rule of law and crime investigations.
But that's where the issue is. That if all of this was at play and some say these were the options available to the special prosecutor, why didn't he trigger that earlier than now?
Yeah, I think you remember he made the point that he was lenient with him. Then his lawyers came with a letter. Then they did their own permutations and gave him 69 days. And they also added some number of days to it. I was worried when he took him off the wanted list and determined and made the case so forcefully that if he refused to appear, he might have put him on the wanted list again, which he did this evening. I think they had that friendly encounter, and it became very a tassel for them. And he has no choice than to come back to where we are now. I would have loved it when he put him on the wanted list a long time ago, that he shouldn't have removed him. Then that becomes the basis for tracking him or tracing him to wherever he is. We would have gone far. But here we are again after. This is Ghana. Sometimes we stretch the issues and people say all manner of things. And they may think we the investigators are not doing something right, or we don't know what we are doing. And sometimes I feel pain or pissed off when people do some of those things. But these are the avenues, and it is left for us to decide which of the options to apply in relation to a peculiarity of a particular case, the subject of the crime suspect, and what the outcome is expected of us. And this is where we are today. I would have loved it to stay there, but lo and behold, he brought it today, and today the line has been drawn. So let's see the way it goes.
I do appreciate your time on this.
Thank you, Alfred. God bless.
Thank you so much. And that's Richard Kumado, former operator of national security, joining us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, on W 93.5 in Y and beyond. We're back shortly. Bismarck Ewusa is standing by with a summary of the business news after this quick break.
Hello, Ghana.